Have you ever felt like you're living according to others' expectations, like an actor following a script you didn't write? What if there were a way to reclaim your life and live authentically? That's the promise Friedrich Nietzsche explored with his idea of the will to power, a vital force that goes beyond dominating others, reaching the creation of oneself. Here at Essence and Existence, we dive into life's big questions, and today we will uncover how the will to power can be the secret to a true life. Nietzsche lived in the 19th century in a world questioning old values, and his philosophy challenges passivity, inviting us to embrace our inner strength. Could this idea free us from modern chaos? We'll explore the concept, connect it to current challenges, and offer practical reflections. Stay with me, because by the end, you might discover how to awaken your own will to power. To understand Nietzsche's will to power, we need to dive into the context of the late 19th century, when he challenged the foundations of traditional morality. After proclaiming "God is dead" in Thus Spoke Zarathustra, Nietzsche saw a world empty of absolute values, where humanity had to create its own meaning. The will to power emerges as the driving force of this creation, not just the desire to dominate others, but the inner drive to overcome oneself and affirm life. Nietzsche described the will to power as the natural impulse to grow, create, and assert oneself, like a plant breaking through soil toward the light. He believed everyone carries this energy, but many suppress it, living under external expectations or fear of failure. Picture someone who abandons their dreams to please others. That person stifles their will to power. Have you ever felt that energy struggling to break free, only to be held back by social pressures? This idea transcends physical or political power. For Nietzsche, authenticity arises when we use the will to power to shape our identity, embracing our instincts and facing the void with courage. He introduced the Übermensch, the overman, as the ideal of someone who harnesses this force to create their own values. But it demands abandoning conformity and accepting risk. What if living authentically meant challenging everything imposed on you? Nietzsche saw the will to power as an antidote to nihilism, the despair of a world without meaning. Instead of surrendering, he invites us to affirm our existence with passion and creation. This transformation begins within, an act of rebellion against passivity. Are you ready to awaken that force and rewrite your own story? With the concept of will to power in mind, let's see how it applies to the chaos of modern life. In a world of social pressures, social media, and constant expectations, many lose themselves, living lives that don't reflect who they truly are. Have you ever felt your authenticity stifled by imposed standards, whether the pursuit of approval or the fear of being different? Nietzsche would say this happens when the will to power lies dormant. Consider the culture of success. People climb careers or amass followers on social media, often sacrificing their true desires for external validation. Nietzsche would see this as a betrayal of the will to power, a conformity that weakens the soul. In contrast, those who follow their own paths, like artists creating fearlessly despite criticism, embody this force in action. Have you ever admired someone who lived by their own values, even in the face of resistance? Another example lies in the search for meaning. With the decline of traditional beliefs, many turn to consumption or ready-made ideologies, avoiding the void Nietzsche identified. But those who embrace the will to power confront that void, crafting their own purpose, whether through art, family, or personal causes. How far would you go to assert your authenticity? Let's illustrate this with a story. Meet Lucas, a 28-year-old man who worked a stable corporate job but felt a growing emptiness. He followed his parents' and colleagues' expectations while his passion for music remained dormant. One day, inspired by Nietzsche, Lucas quit his job to invest in his band. The risk was immense. He lost initial support, but found an authenticity he'd never known. He wondered, was it worth trading security for this freedom? Lucas's story reveals the transformative power of the will to power. It demands courage to break from comfort, but rewards with a life of one's own. Have you ever faced a moment where you had to choose between conformity and authenticity? Could the will to power be what separates us from a mediocre existence? If the will to power is the secret to an authentic life, how can we awaken it in a world that pulls us toward conformity? Nietzsche encourages us to embrace this inner force, turning the void into a space of creation. Here are 3 practical steps inspired by his philosophy to cultivate your authenticity and overcome challenges. First step, face the void with courage. Nietzsche viewed nihilism as an opportunity. The collapse of old values opens room for new ones. Set aside 5 minutes a day to reflect. What sustains me without imposed beliefs? Like Lucas, you may feel fear, but confronting it is the start. This courage is the root of the will to power. Are you willing to gaze into the abyss and find your light? Second step, create your own values. Authenticity emerges when you define what matters, rather than following others' norms. Write down 3 principles to guide your life, perhaps freedom, creativity, or connection, and live by them. Nietzsche saw the Übermensch as someone who shapes their destiny. Begin with small choices, like pursuing a dream or helping without expecting reward. Do you have the boldness to be the author of your existence? Third step, embrace eternal recurrence as a test. Nietzsche proposed imagining your life repeating infinitely. Use this as an exercise. Live each day as if you do want to relive it forever, embracing joys and pains. This strengthens your will to power, building resilience. Try it today. Face a difficulty with gratitude, seeing it as part of your growth. What if you could love every moment, even the hardest ones? These steps transform the will to power into a flame that lights your path. Nietzsche challenges us not just to survive, but to create a life that resonates with who we are. Are you ready to ignite that flame and live authentically? We've reached the end of this journey, and I want you to pause for a moment and look within. Nietzsche, in the late 19th century, offered us the will to power as a key to an authentic life, a force we've seen at work in Lucas's story and in modern challenges of conformity, success, and the search for meaning. His philosophy isn't about dominating others, but about creating oneself, turning the void into a space of creation. The secret lies in claiming your own narrative. An authentic life doesn't come from outside. It emerges when you awaken your will to power, confronting fear and shaping your destiny. As Nietzsche suggested with the Übermensch, you can be the sculptor of your existence, balancing courage, creation, and acceptance. The question remains, are you ready to abandon others' scripts and live your truth? What if authenticity were the greatest act of power you can wield? Here's my challenge for you. Today, set aside 10 minutes. Grab a piece of paper, write "What makes me authentic?" at the top, and list everything that comes to mind. Passions, values, moments. Pick one item and plan a small action to honor it tomorrow, like creating something or talking to someone meaningful. Repeat for a week and see how your will to power blossoms. Start simply, but with determination. If this video inspired you to reflect, leave a like, subscribe to Essence and Existence, and hit the bell to never miss a video. Share in the comments, what did you discover as a source of your authenticity? I'd love to hear your journey. And if you want to explore more, check out our video on the art of strategy with Machiavelli. Until next time, remember, your will to power is the path to a life truly your own.